can do hard things. I love that quote by Glennon Doyle, who's a speaker, author, activist. And I remind myself of that quote on a regular basis because there are plenty of times where my mind threatens to hold me back and stop me from going to the next level. I'm Emily Williams. I'm a desires coach and money mindset expert, and I love working with driven women just like you to achieve their next level of success. So the truth is, so much of life requires us to go to the next level, requires some growth, requires motivation, requires us getting out of our own way. And yet it can be so tricky to identify those times where we really shouldn't move forward versus the times where we're actually holding ourselves back. So let me give you a tangible example. Recently, I wanted to go to a Pilates class, and every excuse under the sun came up for me. I was about to be taking a trip as well, so I was thinking, I have too much to do. I have to pack. I want to be with my daughter. My back hurts. I don't have the time to do this. Literally every excuse in the book. And the interesting thing is, I had booked that class. I knew that it was something I wanted to do. I had researched the teachers. I knew that she was the best teacher at the studio, deliberately went into the app and booked the class. And yet there I was battling with my mind, wondering if I was actually going to make it to this Pilates class. And the real truth is actually that what happens in those moments is really just about fear. We have fear of change. We have fear of making the wrong decision, fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of judgment, fear of something being hard, fear of pain. And so those are the things that we want to be aware of and then move past and recognize that those aren't actually the truth of the scenario. We are addicted to pleasure and we avoid pain. Simple. And yet it's so hard to make those decisions in the moment. So that's why I've broken this down to 3 simple steps that you can use in any scenario. And trust me, although I'm breaking them down and giving you a lot of information in this video, these things can happen like this. So as I'm telling you this process, I wasn't just sitting there, writing down all these things I'm going to tell you. It was happening in a matter of seconds because I've done this so much. So I was able to get myself to that class on time and not delay any further. All right. So let's go into step 1. I reminded myself that my mind was lying. So it was not true that I didn't have the time. It was not true that my back hurt too badly to go to the class. It was not true that I needed to spend time with my daughter. Although that's important to me, she was taken care of in that moment. It was not true that I wasn't good enough to go to the class. It was not true that I wasn't strong enough. So all those excuses that were coming up for me in that moment, I recognized that those were actually excuses my mind was using to get me to stay in those normal patterns that I'm often in, where I'm overworking and I'm not taking care of myself and my body. But those were just delay tactics. Those were excuses. They weren't truth. So when you recognize that your mind is not telling you the truth, then you can bypass that and focus on the things that are the reality that you are craving. Now, pro tip here, one of the other things that I recognize in scenarios like this is my mind tries to use overwhelm as a delay tactic. It uses it as a stopping strategy. Maybe you have a different type of stopping strategy. Mine is normally overwhelm, but it's really important that you understand what yours is so you can identify it and recognize, hey, that's not true. It's just my mind trying to stop me. Before you go any further, make sure you check out my Dream Life Guide using the link below. This is 20 pages of my unique methodology supporting you in uncovering exactly what you want, busting through your limiting beliefs and blocks, and putting the action steps in place to get the life that you are craving. Plus, I've also included a private podcast feed, so check it out. Number 2, I reminded myself that the thing I was resisting was actually the thing that was going to help me get the results that I was craving. So again, I knowingly booked this Pilates class. I have the membership for a reason. I love the way Pilates makes me feel. But in those moments of despair, discouragement, distress, your mind is going to tell you that you don't need those things. Your mind is going to tell you, actually, that's the thing that's going to make it worse. It's going to put you behind in your schedule. You're going to hurt your back again, or you're going to get sick when you go to that class. And again, we know that the mind is lying to us, but at the same time, it's very hard to focus on the thing that we really want through all that noise. So I have to remind myself on repeat why I chose to do this thing, why I booked the Pilates membership, why I wanted to do this in the first place. I got to remember the benefit of doing the action so that that becomes stronger than the fear itself. And when you have that desire or that benefit that's stronger than the fear, you will move past the fear so much quicker, and you're going to be reminded why you want to do that thing in the first place, and that will pull you into action. Number 3, Have accountability in place. So I hate to admit it, but oftentimes when it comes to exercise, one of the things that holds me accountable is the fact that I've already spent money or committed in some respect to doing the thing. So maybe you have a personal trainer, maybe you bought the membership, and if you cancel the class, then you'll lose the credit or it'll expire, something like that. You'll lose something. And oftentimes that's motivation for people to keep the commitment and to actually take the action. That's why coaching works so well. You literally have someone accountable who you've paid to help get you results. So you're going to show up to the session, you're going to do the homework, you're going to take the action. So ask yourself, when it comes to the things that you often delay or the things that you hold yourself back on, what would help you get into action more quickly to stay more consistent? What level of accountability do you actually need? Now, there's no shame in needing accountability. I find so many driven women, they feel like they should be able to do it themselves. But the reality is we all need help, and that's okay. It's actually a smart move to make sure you understand who you need in your corner. Who is that dream team that's going to help you get results so that you are the best version of yourself and you stay committed to the things that you want to do. All right, bonus tip. Do the hard things in the morning. So the truth is we all have a bucket of motivation. We have a bucket of energy. And sometimes throughout the day that dwindles like a hole dripping out the water in the bucket. And so my recommendation is to do the hardest things in the morning. Make the hard things the first things. Maybe that's your workout. Maybe it's the email. Maybe it's reaching out to potential clients. Whatever it may be, do the hard things in the morning. Make the hard things the first things. Let me give you an example. One of my incredible mentors, coaches, friends, Dr. James Rouse, he is renowned for doing a really intense workout first thing in the morning around 4 a.m., as well as a cold ice bath. Now, you can go on his Instagram, you can see all of that firsthand. I've actually been there in his house and have seen him do this. And it is really intense and very impressive. And he's somebody who always does the hard things as the first things. And it's really a lesson for all of us that so much potential is there within, and yet we're waiting until the end of the day and we're procrastinating to do the things that need our most energy or need us to shift our mindset in a big way. So again, make the hard things the first things and you will see your world start to transform. All right, one other pro tip. Make sure when you're making decisions that you choose something that you actually like to do. So for me, I refuse to do exercise that I don't like to do. Yes, there's going to be moments just like in the example I gave you where I'm not going to want to do it. But overall, I really love Pilates. When I get there, I love the class. I love yoga. I put a lot of time and effort into finding things that I'm going to stick to and things that are going to bring me joy. And so do the same thing in your own life. If there's something that you're really struggling with and it completely feels out of alignment, or it feels like it's really heavy, or it feels like it's something that you always dread, even when you get there, you don't end up liking it, or it's not giving you what you thought it would. Let it go and find something else that you can replace it with that does bring you joy. Life is way too short, and I know that there's something that will work better for you that you'll be able to stick to that will get you the results that you're craving. Finally, find those people in your life who are doing big things. They're making those consistent changes. They're staying in action and momentum. They're able to do those hard things as the first things. And you really admire the way they show up in the world, because having them as examples is going to make a huge difference to you getting the results that you are craving. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you love this video, and I'll see you in the next one.